Hello, hello, and welcome to the Superhero Hub. This is up for review, and today we're going to be reviewing
Supergirl.
nice the latest episode. So, I forgot the name of it.
Supergirl lives.
Oh God, what a whoopsie that was. Now
Indeed.
this episode, well, that episode of Supergirl was a special episode because it was directed by Kevin Smith,
Yeah.
and that's why it's special.
I mean, it doesn't make it that special, does it?
Yeah, it's nothing amazing. It's not like um, any filmmaker, you know what I mean? It's good, and like is a comic book fan, but it's not like groundbreaking, you know
No,
what I
I mean,
mean?
it's nothing against him. It's just directing TV isn't the same as directing a movie. You don't have that much of an effect, really.
Yeah, it's probably best he sticks to TV for a while until he comes up with a better idea for a film anyway. But that's just, you know what I mean? I like him as a person, so I want him to be successful. So, because his kid's cast in it as well.
Yeah.
He's directed an episode of The Flash. Now he's gone on to Supergirl, and now he's thought to himself, on a slide this one in, I'm going to let my kid be in it. Which, I mean, she didn't really do it. She didn't really say anything, which was good. But I mean,
Yeah, she was a bit rough, but in fairness, mate, she's only just started. I think she did a movie with him.
yeah,
Maybe with
yeah.
a bit of training, she could get better. I think he put Jason Mewes in the Flash as well, didn't he? So,
Yeah, that was choked. Where it was like his mum's car, and then it got trashed. Anyway, let's get into reviewing this episode.
indeed.
One thing I'll say, the girl's mother, do you know, who comes into...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has got to be the worst actress I've ever seen. I mean,
Really?
she was horrific. That was one thing I was watching it, I was thinking, this woman's just coming off so inauthentic, you know what I mean? I think she's doing that like she's trying to cry, and like her eyes ain't even watering. It's not the fact that she's not even crying, her eyes ain't even watering. She's like trying to crinkle her eyes and stuff, she's trying to make her voice. I was just like, yo, this woman is terrible. I was thinking, wow, that's like the worst acting I've ever seen, that they just yank her off a street. So I mean, she's pretty minor part, but I'm just saying. I tell you what was good though, I liked kind of it is kind of realistic in the sense of like emotions like Supergirl is, but this episode in specific, like, do you know, Winn, when he got smacked up at the start and the gun put to his head, and then the rest of the episode was pranging it. Like for me, I like that, because if that happened in anyone in Arrow or anyone in the Flash, they'd shake it off and then just not explain it or anything like that. But
Well, but that was something I was going to pick up on as well. Is sometimes I do wish these people on these shows would, seemingly they're all run by the same people, or at least on the whole, have a bit of a conversation, because this was way too close to me, way too close to Mr. Terrific's story on Arrow this week as well. A slight variation, but basically the same thing. They feel useless.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought,
I
I was
thought
waiting for you to jump in.
I was waiting for you. I thought you had something else to say. I was
Well,
expecting you to go on a full rant and stuff, and then you kind of
no,
stopped. I was like,
it's nothing to rant about. It's just it didn't ruin the episode. I just thought I've already seen this week.
yeah, I know, but I think, like, I tell you, like, one of the issues is as well, like, if we're kind of hanging on the emotion thing, the whole, like, relationship, like, Alex's relationship with Maggie is like, it's like the CW effects starting to creep in a bit. All of a sudden, it's all about everyone's relationship. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like CBS. Yeah, there was a bit of it, but like it wasn't too much. You know what I mean? But now it's like every episode, it's like it's the CW effect. You know what I mean? It's all like relationship, all like thing, and it don't really need to be that, because like this week with Supergirl and Mon-El, you know he's got feelings for her. You know it's kind of going both ways. They've kissed in that, but they didn't really delve into it that, like, this episode. It was barely touched upon, like, at all. Yeah, they've got a bit of a rapport going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it wasn't like, Supergirl, can I talk to you for a minute? It's like, yeah, I know we kissed and feelings, rah 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 rah. There was none of that, and it's like that's kind of the way, like their relationship there. That's how like all the relationships should be done. You know what I mean? Like, because everything else is they're talking about it every 5 seconds. It's like, yo, I don't really care, to be honest.
Right, and the sisters' relationship thing, that was all very rushed in this episode as well. You know, oh, they're very happy at the beginning, and oh no, I've got to dump her, and then at the end they're magically back together again. It's like, really? I mean, I don't really want you to do that storyline anyway, and B, if you're gonna do it, at least make it last a little bit.
Yeah, why can't like it's like, I may sound a bit silly, but why can't the kind of relationships be strong where like everything doesn't fall apart every 5 seconds? You know what I mean? Why can't they just have the thing where like, so when she was like, look, I'm having a, why can't she just be like, look, I'm having a bad day, Supergirl's been kidnapped, now's not the time. Oh, okay, then I'll go off, and later on, like, oh, Supergirl's back. Yeah, it's all cool. Let's carry on doing our thing. But it's like, nah, Supergirl's been kidnapped. Get out my face. And then it's like, oh, please, I'm sorry. And it's like, oh, I don't know where. I wasn't gonna come. You know, I'm here now, but I wasn't planning to turn up. You know what I mean? You hurt me bad.
And
it's just like, forget it.
Every relationship has its peaks and valleys, and you can do that on the show, but not in one episode. It was so quick. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the way that's going to be like every single episode, there's going to be stuff like that. Maybe not directly between Alex and Maggie, but it's just a CW effect, you know what I mean? Slowly it's going to be all about, they think like building like characters is like you've got everyone's got to have a relationship, you know what I mean? Everything's got to be all like emotional and stuff like that, and that's how they build their characters. They put them each in relationships, put them through whatever, have them whinge and moan every episode, and then that's their character development. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, it don't need to be that.
Everyone was paired off, at least in this episode, with someone, whether it's romantically otherwise. So let's just take it, a pair at a time. So we had Supergirl and Mon-El, right? They were doing their thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Supergirl since the second episode, I guess.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Mon-El. I will say he is a breath of fresh air, at least personality-wise.
You like him, yeah?
Yes, he was something that was missing from the show last year. We'll get to Jimmy later, but for me personally, he's bland as all hell, and it's part of the reason I wasn't into the show last year. I had no interest in her relationship with Jimmy because A, it's Jimmy Olsen, and B, he's boring. As is portrayed in the show, he's boring. Mon-El, I liked him. I thought he was an interesting guy.
I think is the thing with what will make them work as well is the fact they're both aliens. They both get each other. You know what I mean? You don't want to be here, Jimmy Olsen, like, oh, I had a bad day at the office, blah blah blah, deadlines, I couldn't get pictures and stuff. You want to hear like, oh yeah, this one time I was on an alien planet and I was like blowing stuff up, and it's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? It's relatable, and you get more lore and kind of expand into like their backstories. Like when Kara's talking about when she used to go to other planets and see stuff. It's like that's the sort of stuff I want to hear about. No, I've had a bad day, blah blah blah, and I go to the freezer and get ice cream. I like him for the fact he's kind of like, he's like a low rent Superman, but he's not like dead on like Superman. I liked them like going to another planet because they haven't really done that. I mean, the only instance of seeing another planet was Krypton when Kara was like in a coma. So I mean, the effects were good. They must have spent some money to get that going on. I thought going to the planet effects and stuff like that were pretty sick. Now the interesting thing with him is the kind of storyline, because as a whole, so far Supergirl, there's kind of, yeah, you've got Cadmus, and you got this roulette popping up again, but like there's no solid like big enemy for the season. Like normally with like any with Arrow you got Prometheus, with Flash you've got Savitar and stuff like that, but this season the Supergirl, there hasn't really been like a solid like all ominous summons coming. So I mean, normally it runs through the season, you got issues, and then at the end you defeat the person in the season finale and it's all good. Now for this, there isn't really like someone like that in it. I mean, except for like the Luthers, but they're kind of, it's only like the mum really, and she's kind of like not bothered about her. So now they've kind of brought in Mon-El. They've got the alien people trying to find him for some reason. Now I figure that's going to be like the massive thing, whatever that is, because it's interesting because you've already seen people on a ship looking for him. Then you add the two hooded figures at the end, like, oh, have you seen this guy? And it's like, yeah, he's gone to Earth. It's like, for one, how did they even know that he was on that planet in the first place to be like, oh yeah, have you seen this guy? And second, like, it brings up questions because the Dominator was like to the guard when they were shooting, he was like, nah, don't harm him, and then he like bowed to him. So I was thinking, what's this
What I was, again, not having, this is the first time I've seen Mon-El or heard anything about this. He was talking about there being a prince and him not being worthy of
yeah, he
respect or looking up to. Is he the prince then?
Yeah, he's the prince of like Daxam, and then like Daxam got blew up, and now they're kind of, whoever these people are looking for him. So whether that's like a back thing into like whatever these people want. So I don't know what that's about, but I mean, so that, I figure that's what's going to run off to the season. If we move on to Jimmy Olsen and Winn. See, I kind of like Winn. I liked him at the end when he was kind of giving it a bit cocky with his little stones and stuff, his little space gravel. I thought that was pretty good. Jimmy Olsen, I think he's getting too gassed off this Guardian thing. I mean, I don't really know where that's going. Are they going to keep like doing it like as a subplot is going to be him going around smacking people up? It's like, if you've got people like Supergirl in the show, and you know, to back her up, you've got the DEO, you've got the Martian Manhunter. Is like, is there really a need for him to be like Guardian?
First of all, no, there isn't. You know, there's a reason. There's a reason. Superman's friend, pal Jimmy Olsen doesn't run around fighting with Superman. He don't need any help. Neither does Supergirl. And secondly, I'm sorry, he's still boring. Mm-hmm. He's still so boring.
So I think, do you think maybe they thought, oh no, we'll make him the Guardian to lighten him up a bit?
I think they're trying to make him more interesting. I think they realised last season they were onto a dud in the relationship between the two, which is why it ended just like that in the beginning of the season. And I think they're desperately trying to find a way to make the character work, but it's just not happening.
Yeah, because I think generally during the first season they were kind of moving towards like a Supergirl relationship with him, but now obviously they brought Mon-El in, they're kind of more compatible. So I mean, in terms of like, because Winn was sweating after her as well, so I mean, forget them. It's like, to be honest, like, Superman makes it work with Lois Lane, but really when it kind of comes to that thing, like, the best way of looking at it is if you're kind of like an alien, you're better off with like an alien. I know that sounds like off key, but I mean,
see, for me, I don't know about that per se. I just think it comes down to, on this show, chemistry. You've got to believe there's something there between the actors. You know, no matter what incarnation of Superman and Lois you're watching, if there's no chemistry between the actors, it's not going to work. Look at Superman Returns.
Yeah.
No chemistry between those two, so it just didn't work. And Jimmy, you know, I think they're pairing him with Winn. You know, they were the pair in this episode. Yeah. I think they're pairing him with Winn because Winn has personality. And if you put them together, it can be, you know, it's just the straight man and the comic one, and hopefully that will work. That's a comedy term, don't worry.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's happening.
Okay. So what other kind of things did you have issue or praise during the episode? It's like, to say like, oh, it was well directed, I didn't really, it was just like pretty much any episode of Supergirl, really.
Yeah, well, again, it's meant to be that, like any episode. When it comes to, you know, TV's different from film. On TV, your pilot episode is the one where you're bringing a big name director or a director you can trust, because the pilot episode is where you set the tone for the entire show, and then every episode that comes after that will look like that, and it's meant to look like it, right? So J.J. Abrams directs the pilot of Lost, and then every episode after that will look kind of like that pilot, if that's what you're meant to do. So when a director comes in on a TV show, they're not really putting their flair on it, because they're not meant to. You're meant to make it like the show is. There are only some very rare exceptions, like when Quentin Tarantino did an episode of CSI, it looked different because it was meant to be like a Tarantino thing, but otherwise it is what it is. So, you know, it was fine, it was great, but if it had a different name on it other than Kevin Smith, you'd never really know he was on it. You know what I mean? He did a fine enough job. The Supergirl being a reporter thing, yeah, I guess it works. I think it works better than the Cat Grant. Working. Where did she work last year? What was that?
She was like basically like a personal assistant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now she's gone from personal assistant at Catco to kind of a reporter, but she's kind of got free reign, you know what I mean? I think now because Jimmy Olsen's like the CEO or whatever, it's like people are dropping in and everything. I think that's a good direction to take because it gives like an excuse for people to like be pissing around, because like in the real world you couldn't have like Winn dipping in and dipping out, and you couldn't have like Jimmy Olsen popping out every 5 seconds and like Kara popping out every 5 seconds.
Well,
So now I think because he's like CEO of the company, it kind of gives people free thing to like mess about and stuff. It's like, oh, because like in the real world you'd be like, why is this person at your desk? Who is this person? You know what I mean? Shouldn't you be working?
Yeah, but ultimately, this is the Superman thing, isn't it? I guess it makes sense, but it does also lend credence to the whole "it's just Superman in a skirt" kind of thing. But that's the show you're making, and go with it. I think I don't want to harp on the Jimmy thing, but
You're gonna.
no, I'm just trying to. I don't want to hate on him. I'm just trying to think: is there a way they can make it work?
Personality transplant.
Yeah.
I know, it's like character building. I don't know, give it, because it's like give him a girlfriend or something. I don't know, just like slightly episode by episode change it up, I guess. Just add little bits, and then eventually that'll accumulate up and it'll be this like different character personality wise. But I think for now, I think they're just gonna have him like double up sidekick and that as the Guardian, and then like you got the thing like Kara don't know who Guardian is, and then he's playing coy and there's like, oh yeah, Guardian did all the hard work, like when they were doing like the papers, like, oh here I wrote this paper on Supergirl with the jewel heist. Then it was like, oh yeah, I had a couple minutes so I wrote this story on like Guardian helping with the jewel heist, and it was like, mate, you're trying too hard. So I mean,
yeah, I'm willing to give it time. It is we'll give that a go. If they kept him in the same position it was last year, I probably would have lost my rag by now. But give it another year or so, see if you can make it work with him. I think Mon-El should stick around though.
okay.
I think he's a better fit for Supergirl. I remember there being a scene. Supergirl's the hero of the show, and she should be.
Yeah.
But there was a scene last year where Supergirl like caught Jimmy Olsen. And at that point, I thought, no, like you can't make this work. She can save him, yeah, she's the hero, great, but that's ridiculous. You don't need to do that with Mon-El. Oh, yes, he can do the same thing they used to do in Buffy. Angel would have superpowers, but he would get his ass kicked, and then Buffy would come in and save the day. He can do that all day, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there needs to be some sort of dynamic he can work, and I think it works better with Mon-El. Long term, though, yeah. You raise a good point. I don't know where it's going. It's a weird. I won't want to be critical about it until we get to the end of the season. We'll see if it's worked. But as for now, doing one of these shows and not knowing where you're going in the finale is odd.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of episode rating, what would you rate this one out of 10?
6.5.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's not a strong number. I'd give it a 7. So we'll wrap it up there. What?
It's literally a 0.5 difference.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked good. The effects are good. So
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
yeah. So,
I like the Stargate reference.
yeah. So like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. I've been Sam,
I've been Matt.
and we'll see you in the next episode.